When film buffs talk about Martin Scorsese's greatest masterpieces, titles like Goodfellas, Taxi Driver, or The Departed usually dominate the conversation. But sitting quietly in the middle of his filmography is a grand, sweeping epic that deserves far more credit than it gets. 2004's The Aviator. Nominated for 11 Academy Awards, this film isn't just a standard biopic. It's a visually arresting, deeply psychological dive into ambition, madness, and the birth of modern America. Today, we're peeling back the layers of Scorsese's most underrated triumph, examining how it brought old Hollywood back to life, the corporate wars that shaped the skies, and a lead performance that redefined obsession. To tell the story of Howard Hughes, Scorsese and legendary cinematographer Robert Richardson realized they couldn't just shoot a modern movie about the past. They needed the film itself to look the way movies looked to audiences in the 1930s and 40s. Instead of relying on standard digital grading, the filmmakers meticulously mimicked the physical evolution of early Cinemacolor technology. In the first half of the film, depicting the golden age of Hollywood and high flying adventure, they utilized a digital process that mirrored early two strip and three strip Technicolor. The reds are hyper vibrant, the greens are deep, and the skies carry a rich, artificial warmth. But as Hughes's mental states begin to fracture and slip into isolation, the color palette shifts dramatically. The warm hues bleed out, replaced by stark, cold, faded tones. The visuals act as a silent narrator, mapping out the mental deterioration of a genius directly onto the film stock itself. At the center of this visual masterpiece is Leonardo DiCaprio, delivering what might be the most physically demanding performance of his career. Playing Howard Hughes required capturing a man whose mind was both a superpower and a prison. DiCaprio masterfully charts Hughes's trajectory through micro expressions and physical tics. Notice how his posture changes. Early on, he is loose, charismatic, and towering with absolute confidence. As his obsessive compulsive disorder tightens its grip, his body stiffens. Watch his hands, the way he hesitates before touching a doorknob, how his gaze locks onto a speck of dust. DiCaprio communicates mountains of internal agony without relying solely on exposition. He portrays the invisible prison of mental illness in an era before effective treatments or public understanding even existed, making Hughes's tragic descent both terrifying and heartbreakingly human. Hughes wasn't just an aviation pioneer, he was a notorious corporate rebel who loved poking the eye of the establishment. One of the film's most thrilling subplots highlights his fierce battle against Hollywood's moral guardians, the Hays Office and the Production Code Administration. When Hughes produced the 1943 Western The Outlaw, starring a newcomer named Jane Russell, censorship boards took immediate issue with, well, everything. They refused to grant a seal of approval due to the film's provocative marketing and focus on Russell's wardrobe. Most filmmakers would have backed down or edited the film, not Hughes. He spent years playing a high stakes game of cat and mouse with censors, exploiting loopholes, locking prints in vaults, and floating studio norms. It's a brilliant window into his stubborn defiance, showing that whether he was building an airplane or fighting a censorship board, Howard Hughes refused to take no for an answer. Behind the glamour of Hollywood starlets and experimental aircraft lies a ruthless corporate battlefield. The Aviator brilliantly captures the high stakes economic warfare between Hughes and his ultimate rival, Juan Trippe, the powerful head of Pan American World Airways. In the mid 20th century, Pan Am held a virtual government backed monopoly over international travel. Tripp wasn't just a businessman, he was a political operator with deep ties in Washington. Hughes, through Transcontinental and Western Air, TWA, dared to challenge that monopoly by introducing luxury transatlantic flights. The film strips away the romance to expose the dirty side of capitalism: antitrust hearings, political backstabbing, and a government backed conspiracy designed to clip Hughes's wings once and for all. It elevates the movie from a simple character study into an epic clash of titans over who would control the future of global travel. When you stitch all of these elements together, the groundbreaking recreation of color history, DiCaprio's masterclass in physical acting, to thrilling battles against corporate monopolies and censors, it becomes clear why The Aviator stands tall as Martin Scorsese's most underrated masterpiece. It is a film that marries the kinetic, high energy storytelling of Goodfellas with the deep, psychological character exploration of Raging Bull. It reminds us of a time when billionaires built machines with their own hands and when cinemas was willing to take massive, dazzling risks. If you haven't seen The Aviator in a while, or if you somehow missed it, it's time to clear the runway because cinematic achievements like this don't come around twice.